JBL Xtreme 2 versus Sony XB41. If you're on the market for a large portable speaker, then these two are perhaps your most popular and eye-catching options. Both the Sony XB41 and JBL Xtreme 2 were recently released, have gotten noticeable improvements, and they both cost about the same. But they do have some key differences between one another. So let's find out which one's right for you. Just so we're clear, this isn't a full review on either of these speakers. I'm just trying to point out the most important differences between them so I can help you with your purchase decision. If you want to learn more about either of these speakers, then watch their full reviews. Both of these speakers were announced at CES 2018 and they were released shortly after. The Sony XB41 retails for $250 and the JBL Xtreme 2 retails for $300. If you want to pick either of these speakers up, I'll have links in the description below, and if you use the links, it really helps out the channel. I suggest you check them out because Sony speakers routinely go on sale, so you might get lucky. First, let's talk about design. The JBL Xtreme 2 didn't change too much from the original Xtreme. It has the same basic shape and it has a fabric mesh covered body. But the Sony XB41 has a completely new design from the previous XB40. The XB41's new design has proven itself to be polarizing, but personally I love it. It looks much sleeker and the light feature is way better. The XB41 is also much lighter and narrower than the Xtreme 2. But more importantly, the XB41 now also has a fabric mesh covered body, which lets it stand up to bumps and scrapes when you take it on the go with you, as good as the Xtreme 2. The Sony XB41 is also IP67 rated, so it's both dust and waterproof. Basically, Sony upgraded the XB41 to make sure it was as durable and portable as the Xtreme 2. The JBL Xtreme 2 is IPX7 rated, so water isn't an issue. But I think the reason it doesn't have a dust certification is because of the exposed radiators on each side. But as long as you don't get sand in them or you push them in, you'll be fine. Even though Sony tried to make the XB41 as portable as the Xtreme 2 by making it lightweight and durable, the Xtreme 2 has the upper hand when it comes to portability thanks to the carrying strap. Sure, you can throw the XB41 into your backpack or just hold it, but with the Xtreme 2 you can just swing it over your shoulder and get moving. Honestly, do not underestimate how handy the carrying strap is. The new carrying strap on the Xtreme 2 also has a built-in bottle opener, which is a very nice touch on JBL's part. Okay, now let's talk about how you charge these speakers, cause it matters. Both the JBL Xtreme 2 and Sony XB41 come with AC wall chargers, but the XB41 also allows you to charge it with a micro USB cable as long as you have a wall adapter that supplies 5 volts. And personally, I love this. I can charge my camera, drone, and speaker all with one cable. Being able to charge the XB41 via an AC or micro USB port is a very nice touch on Sony's part. When it comes to battery life, JBL advertises a 15-hour battery life on the Xtreme 2, and Sony advertises a 24-hour battery life on the XB41. But in my testing, with the volume set at 50%, the Xtreme 2 averaged 16.5 hours of playback time, and the XB41 averaged 20 hours of playback time with the light feature turned on. And with the volume set at 80%, the Xtreme 2 averages 10 hours of playback time, and the XB41 averaged 12 hours of playback time. Okay, now let's talk about speaker setup because things are very different. The Sony XB41 has dual 58mm diameter woofers and dual passive radiators in the center that shoot out the front and out the back of the speaker. But the Xtreme 2 setup is a little more impressive. It has slightly larger 70mm diameter woofers, dual 20mm diameter tweeters that are not present on the XB41, and significantly larger dual passive radiators on each side of the speaker. Now, before we get into the sound test, even though you can manually adjust the EQ on the XB41 to whatever you like, I decided to use the XB41 in its extra bass mode and live sound modes because those are kind of the main selling points Sony is trying to push on this speaker.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found. But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air, like a blazing flare. Stay, 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to to me. Kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me.
First off, I absolutely hate how the Sony XB41 sounds when set to live sound mode. I never use it, but Sony's extra bass lineup is geared towards people who listen to music with lots of bass. And since I listen to a lot of rap, hip hop, and EDM, I like the XB41, and I prefer to listen to the XB41 with extra bass turned on because it has more kick than the Xtreme 2. But even though you can easily and quickly turn off extra bass or adjust the EQ on the XB41, no matter how much you play around with the EQ on the XB41, its audio quality is not as good as the Xtreme 2. The Xtreme 2 sounds clearer and more defined. Now don't get me wrong, both of these speakers sound good, but if you want the better audio quality, go for the Xtreme 2. Now when it comes to loudness, both of these speakers get pretty loud, but the Sony XB41 does manage to get louder than the Xtreme 2. But when the XB41 is set to max volume, the extra bass feature is automatically turned off, and as a result, the XB41 does start to sound a little bright, whereas the JBL Xtreme 2 might not get as loud as the XB41, but it does sound better. But using the JBL Xtreme 2 at max volume is like using the Sony XB41 at 90% volume. Now, if you plan on pairing multiple speakers together on a regular basis, I highly advise you invest into JBL's ecosystem because of JBL Connect Plus. JBL Connect Plus is the easiest way to pair multiple speakers together. You literally just press one button on each speaker and the speakers will figure out the rest by themselves. You don't have to mess around with any Bluetooth settings and you don't have to mess around with any other apps. It just works. Whereas pairing multiple Sony speakers together is like stacking dominoes. You have to do everything just right, and if you mess up, you're gonna have to start all over again. And even sometimes if you follow the instructions perfectly, it just doesn't work. And even if it does work, there are times where an echo will start to form, and the only way to get rid of it is to turn the speakers off and pair them up again. But when these Sony speakers do pair up, the light features also sync up, which admittedly do look pretty good. And finally, let's talk about the light feature. It's not as impressive as the JBL Pulse 3, but it does look pretty good. You have a few light modes to choose from, and you can also customize your colors a little bit. The light feature on the XB41 makes it more than just a speaker in your room. It also makes it a decoration. And when the XB41 is turned off, it's very inconspicuous. So here's my final verdict. Both of these speakers are good, rugged, and durable enough to take with you almost anywhere. But if we were to base this off of purely looks, then I would go with the XB41 because of its smaller form factor and the light feature, which I personally really enjoy. It also has a better battery life. But if you want something with better audio fidelity, then I would go with the Xtreme 2. I feel the Sony XB41 is great if you only want one speaker. But if you plan on routinely pairing multiple speakers together, then I highly advise you get the Xtreme 2 because of JBL Connect Plus. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. Support the channel by clicking on the links down below, and I'll catch you next time.